Yo, 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 yo. What up, 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 what up? Happy Monday. Back again, back again, back again. Another week, another episode. More great times, more enlightenment, more personality. What's going on, good people? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? We are setting up the other device. One day I am going to have this thing together. One day soon. I am committed to it. I will get it together. What's going on? Peace and love, peace and love. Where I will be ready by 8:30. That is my goal, to be ready, to be in my seat here, ready for the show by 8:30. Take my last bit of notes and get the show going. A minute before 9, right? So now we are live fully. One day we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna keep striving. Right? Discipline is a journey. It is not necessarily a destination. Becoming more disciplined, becoming more organized. It is a process that I believe as long as you work on it daily, you are making progress. All right. So I'm working on it daily. It is in my mind. It is in my heart. I don't know if it's the Pisces in me that gets lost in time in my music and whatever I'm doing that I'm like, oh snap, it's time. All right. This morning, workout, push myself a little more than I had time for. I got in a little later than I wanted to. Got up a little later than I wanted to in Brooklyn. Got home a little later than I wanted to. But we are here. We are here with another episode. SRDaily, peace and love, family. Peace and love. What's the deal? What's going on? Happy Miraculous Monday. I hope the weekend was beautiful for you guys. Hope you guys are feeling good. It is a beautiful day. It is nice and chilly, but the sun is shining. It is bright. All right, I'm feeling great. Today is day 19 of our 31-day watermelon challenge and fast, and I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling clean inside. I'm feeling pure. I'm feeling light-hearted, light-minded, even though the emotions are heavy, right? Things that I'm experiencing in my life, in my personal life, in my family, things are not necessarily easy, but I feel confident in all of them. Like I am going to be victorious. Like the people in my family who need to be victorious will be victorious. And if they're not, then it wasn't divine will, right? Like I'm fully set on the will of the divine, fully locked in, right? Understanding that we plan, man plans, but Allah is the best of planners. They say you want to make God laugh, all right? Tell God your plans. And so, yeah, man, we're here. Another Monday, episode 369 of SRDaily, week 75. 75 weeks in, 369 episodes in. Peace and love. I am proud of myself, and we are going to share this live on Instagram with a few folks. We're going to share with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm going to say 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. We're going to share with 40 something folks, right? Nearly 50 people. We're going to send this live to. And I'll see we get them in the chat, get them in the show. And then we are going to get going. Once again, peace and love. Happy Monday. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marson. You are tuned into SRDaily, episode 369. SRDaily is where personality meets enlightenment. This is week 75 here on the show. We are live Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube live. Yeah, man, it's been an incredible journey. We've switched platforms. We've gone up, we've gone down. We've had upwards of 10,000 views in one show, and we've had 40 views in one show. All right. But the key is this, that we are consistent, regardless of how we are feeling, how I am feeling, the show gets done. Unless, one time I slept a little too long. All right. Had a tough week the week before and I overslept and I missed that one show. But then I made it up on a Saturday. I did my show on a Saturday to make up. But yeah, we're here. Let's get the show started. We're going to start with our first segment of the day. Today's first segment is a quote of the day. Today is, once again, May 19th, Monday, May 19th, historical day. For many reasons, we're going to get into that, right? But May 19th, 2025, quote of the day reads, "Nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who were oppressing them." That's Assata Shakur, from her book, Asada. We had 2 quotes today, though, because today is such a special day. All right. Again, we're going to get into that in our news and stuff like that. But today's a special day, May 19th. Some of you may know why. But yeah. Second quote for today. All too often, when we see injustices, both great and small, we think, that's terrible, but we do nothing. We say nothing. We let other people fight their own battles. We remain silent because silence is easier. When we say nothing, when we do nothing, we are consenting to these trespasses against us. Roxane Gay. 2 black women, right? So these 2 quotes for today are really rooted in the fight for freedom, right? We are fighting for freedom. We are fighting for justice, right? We are fighting for liberation. And so let's read them again. First quote is from Assata Shakur, and it says, nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who were oppressing them. That's the first quote. Second quote, all too often when we see injustices, both great and small, we think, that's terrible, but we do nothing. We say nothing. We let other people fight their own battles. We remain silent because silence is easier. When we say nothing, when we do nothing, we are consenting to these trespasses against us, Roxane Gay. The moral of these quotes is you got to do something, right? Like for one, in Roxane Gay's quote, right, we talk about with family, we talk about, oh, I love black people, or I love humanity, whatever it is, right? You talk about loving people, but you say nothing when they go through things. You don't help them. You don't. Oh, I pray for them. You don't even do that really. That be the prayer, right? Like we do not help each other the way we should. We do not stand up for each other the way we should. Even using your voice is something is more powerful than being silent. Silence, right? One thing we said when we were doing the peace walks in Queensbridge and Far Rockaway and Jamaica and all throughout the city, really, with Fathers Alive in the Hood, right? My brother's organization. We would say that silence is violence. Because if there's a shooting in the neighborhood and you complaining about it, but you're not saying, like, you're complaining about it at home, like to your friends, right, to your immediate family, but you're not saying anything to the greater community, like, yo, we got to do something about this, then you're condoning it, right? You may complain about it behind your closed doors in your crib, to your children, to your spouse, whatever. But if you ain't doing nothing about it, right, like, if you ain't saying nothing to help address the issue, alleviate the issue, solve the problem, then what are you really doing? You just, it's lip service, what we call it, right? You're talking just because you got lips, talking because you got gums. And we can't afford that anymore. And then the second quote, which was the first one, Assata Shakur, is one of my favorite revolutionaries, right? I gave out when we did the bus trip back in 2020 and I took the young people to DC. We gave out every young person. We had 60 young people on the bus, and everybody got a copy of Assata. Everybody make sure everybody got a copy. They got Assata Shakur and they got Elijah Muhammad, Message to the Black Man, right? Message to the Black Man and Assata Shakur. It was Malcolm X. They got 3 books. It was the autobiography of Malcolm X, Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad, and Assata from Assata Shakur. 3 books just to like sharpen their mind. But this quote, nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who are oppressing them. Stop begging them. Stop asking them to change. Understand that, yes, there are some people who make bad decisions. There are some people who do terrible things, but they're not terrible people. DMX says it's a difference between doing wrong and being wrong. And some people are just evil people. And don't be fooled by your religion. Don't be fooled by your spirituality and thinking that every person is good and every person has the potential to be good. That's like saying the poisonous plants cannot be poisoned. Yeah, they cannot be, but they are poison and they will kill you and you will die. So like simple as that, right? Understand that there are plants that have never been propagated, that have never been altered, right? Never been modified by human interaction. They've never been anything. They grow naturally in the wild. If you smell them, poison. If you touch them, poison. If you eat it, poison. What makes you think that humans are any different? There are some people who are, if we're going to say there's a spectrum, there's an energy spectrum, right? Which there is. It's positive and it's negative. There's some people who are naturally positive. And if that's true, right? If we're going to say that there's some people, no matter what bad is done to them, they still think positive. Then there are people on the opposite who are naturally negative. No matter how much good is done to them, they will always be negative. That exists. Don't act like it, and there are some people, a lot of the people who are in positions of power who created these systems of oppression, right? Of restriction, of hate, of bigotry, of violence. right? That are on that side of the spectrum where they're just evil. You cannot appeal to the moral sense of them. How do you get free? Do your research and find out, right? But yeah, I wanted to share these quotes. Again, today is Monday, May 19th. It is Revolutionary Monday. I'm going to start calling this Revolutionary Day. This is Malcolm X's birthday, 100th birthday. Today he will be 100, centennial. This is also Lorraine Hansberry's birthday, the author, playwright, activist, the mind and pen behind A Raisin in the Sun. She would be 95 today. And it's also my aunt's birthday, all right? Emily Blake. She will be 92 today, right? She transitioned just a few years ago, 2023. But yeah, May 19th, big birthday. Yo, J Dot, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Joy Music, peace and love. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, beloved. Good to see you here. Peace and love. 5-star, light skin. What's going on? Uncut, what's going on, my good brother? Peace and love. Peace and love. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, today, May 19th, birthday of 3 giants that I know of. At least 3. There may be more birthdays on this day, but today is the day of at least 3 giants. Again, the one that the whole world knows, Malcolm X, aka El Haj Malik El Shabazz. Outside of my dad, outside of like the men in my immediate family, my father, a few of my uncles, right? Outside of those men, like Malcolm X was the epitome of manhood for me. Like learning about him, right? Obviously, him, me being born in the 80s, never met the man, but learning about him, learning about his journey, learning like his mind, how powerful his mind was, how intelligent he was, how committed to righteousness he was, right? It did something to me. Like it inspired me on a whole different level, specifically as I was getting in trouble, right? As I was getting in trouble, going to prison, selling drugs, doing all of the bad things in the neighborhood, being shot, doing all of the things, man, like always remembering that my mind will shift one day, right? There will come a time when my mind will shift. And once my mind shifts, my life's going to change. And then we're going to be on the path of freedom, justice, truth, love, peace, and liberation, and all of that good stuff, right? But Malcolm X, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, will be 100 years old today. His legacy is cemented in the minds and hearts of people from all over the world for centuries and generations to come. His impact is felt. His words and mission are remembered. Again, he's a brother, man. You go to any city, any state, Malcolm X Boulevard, right? People are quoting Malcolm X, right? They built their ideologies on Malcolm X ideology, right? Like, and the more I've learned about Malcolm X, the deeper my respect grew for him, because he was part of the Nation of Islam. And through the discrepancies and the issues with Elijah Muhammad, he left, but he stayed committed to the mission, right? He left the organization, but stayed committed to the mission. And that's what sometimes we have to do. Sometimes we got to leave the place that we're at because the people there don't respect us. They don't respect us the way we should be respected. They don't honor us the way we should be honored, right? They don't really value our input and position, and they don't allow us to be who we are, right? They try to restrict us, constrain us, right? Minimize our impact, minimize our ideologies or our ideas. And so sometimes you got to leave the organization, but it's key to keep the principles, keep the mindset, keep the wisdom, keep the teachings, uphold that which that organization stood for. Because one thing we know to be true is that an organization can stand for something, but it's the leadership in how they enact what the principles are. Right. And so, yeah, man, much respect for Malcolm X for having the courage to leave an organization like that, knowing what that would mean. Right. But then having a conviction and having a loyalty to still uphold the principles and the morality. Right. And to still not be like, yo, I'm not Muslim no more. No, I'm still a Black Muslim. Right. And had issues there, and I'm not there anymore, but I'm here and I'm still Muslim, and I'm still upholding the principles that I've learned from where I was before. That's leadership, man. That's gangster shit, right? So the second person whose birthday it is today I mentioned is many people know her, many don't know, is Lorraine Hansberry, right? She was an author, playwright, and an activist. She wrote the play A Raisin in the Sun. She was also, which I didn't know until doing this, writing these notes for the show, right? She was the first Black female playwright. She was the first Black female to have a play performed on Broadway. First Black woman to have a play performed on Broadway. Like, that's, to be the first anything is dope, but the first that Black playwright, not just, right, is she was the first Black woman, right, not playwright, Black woman to have a like play on Broadway. That's dope. That's massive. I can only I think about, all right, how does this person feel when that happened, right? At that time, knowing that you was the first, like what was that feeling? What was the thought process, right? What I also didn't know, she was also the first Black playwright, and she was the youngest playwright ever to win the New York Critics Circle Award for Best American Play. The first Black playwright, man or woman, and the youngest ever man, woman, white, Black to ever win the New York Critics Circle Award for Best American Play. I love reading shit like this about our people, right? Like we just dope, like on all fronts, right? Playwriting, right? Activism, right? Like we're just dope all around. And the third birthday, which is the most personal for me, right? That some know, the world doesn't, right? The whole world doesn't. But this person, because they had never achieved like national or global attention. But make no mistake about it, this person who I'm about to talk about was known by people in different parts of the world. Wasn't on TV or nothing like that, right? So like wasn't known by the masses, but was able to travel to different parts of America, different parts of Africa, different parts of Europe, right? And do things with people, right? And I'm talking about my beloved aunt, Emily Blake, aka Big Mama, man. She transitioned in 2023, November 14th. She was born today, May 19th, 1933. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia. All right, she was born in Atlanta, Georgia, man. And this woman was a giant of a human being, a giant of a woman. She was dedicated to her family, to her community, and to her church. At her funeral, like the pastor kept saying that, like how dedicated she was to her family, to her community, and to her church. She lived in Hempstead, the village of Hempstead, which is where I went to stay when I first came out of prison. And, you know, being in that house, the legacy of that house, like every one of my siblings, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins, we've all lived in that house at some point or another. Big house, her husband, big house, basement, attic, you know, multiple bathrooms, laundry room, big backyard, nice front yard. And so being in that house, being in that environment, I was able to shift my mind. And even though when I first came home, right, after a few months, I started hustling again. But I was able to go home to Long Island. And even though I was doing my dirt in Queensbridge, right, in Queens, and go home to Long Island, like, again, I was still able to process and work on my dream. Like, I wanted to do something different. I just didn't know how to make the money at the time, right? I didn't know how to make money because, like, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to I applied for a bunch of jobs, but I had the felony. I just come off from prison. I did get a job at Starbucks, but it was trash, right? They barely paid any money, and it was disrespectful. So I went to the streets. But again, having that outlet, that option to go to Long Island, having that person, right, that person I could talk to about, like, my feelings and my emotions and my dreams and my fears and my inhibitions and my challenges and all of those things. Like, that was my aunt. And that was incredible, man. This woman, she went above and beyond for her family. Like, she'd fast and pray. Like, a few of us got in trouble. Me, a brother, a sister, my nephew. All of us have went to prison, right, on my dad's side. We all went to prison. And so many court dates, right? One brother ended up spending 26 years in prison. He had many prison experiences, prison stints before that. My sister had a few prison stints. Me and my nephew only had one, one prison stint, but a bunch of arrests. But she would fast and pray when you go into court, right? She would fast, she would pray whenever one of us got in trouble. And although she never had a biological child, right? Her and her husband, Uncle Blake, they did adopt a daughter, Tanisha. And so she was definitely a mother. But to all of us, the rest of us, she was more than an aunt. She was a mother to each and every one of us. All right. Her home was always open. You could always eat. Like I said, she'd visit you in every single prison. She's in packages. When I did my 3-year bid, right? At the time, I had a bunch of girls, right? A couple of different girls. I'm not gonna say a bunch. I had a couple of girls, and she would meet them for packages, pick up packages for me, right? And she would, like, I would call her, right? Or she would write me. She'd like, call me on this day because such and such want me to meet them, and I don't know who it is, right? And so I would call her, and she'd be like, who you got me going to meet now? I'm like, yo, chill, go meet this person. They got some stuff. They can't make it up because of X, Y, and Z. But like, and she would go meet them. She would go meet the girls, right? And she would bring me packages. And, sometimes she would bring somebody to visit me, right? Like if they didn't know how to travel, or mind you, I'm 20 at the time, right? So I'm not super young, but I'm not really grown. So the women I'm dealing with, my age, right? 19, 20, 21. Some of them may have never visited anybody in prison, so they don't know. And all right, so my aunt would pick them up and they would come visit me in prison. It was crazy. But that's my big mama, yo. Like, she would 3-way girls for me. yo, ma, 3-way this girl for me. Call this chick. She's like, oh. And she would 3-way for me. All right. And that was love, man. And like she did so much for her family. She did so much for her town of Hempstead. Like she went toe to toe with the mayor. She's going toe to toe with so many elected officials and police officers, just ensuring that not only her family but her community has what they need, ensuring that the roads are fixed, ensuring that the young people have funds for their programs, right? Ensuring that the young people have programs to go to. Um, like that was my girl, man. Skiing every year for the family and family friends, right? Up in Lake George. We were the first black family up in Lake George, Gore Mountain, first black family 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, maybe. Yeah, that was like 70 years ago, I think she said. Family barbecue in Sunken Meadow Park, 60 plus years in, right? And she upheld those traditions. And when my dad passed, right, my dad died in 95. And then my sister ran my dad's business, but my sister died in 98. And so from 98, literally until 2023 when she passed, up until she couldn't do it anymore, my aunt did her best to maintain my dad's cleaning company, right? And, I helped, when I was able to. I mean, not just when I was able to, but when I was there with her, I helped a lot. Was very supportive of the business and really wanted to grow it. But yeah, man, like my aunt been through a lot, man. Been through a lot, right? She experienced KKK firsthand in Atlanta, Georgia, when she was a little girl. Them coming to my house, her house with pitchforks. She was shot in her face by a white boy when she was like 12 years old, I believe, in Atlanta. Like her life story is incredible. Her impact is timeless, right? Just like the others. And so I want to say happy birthday to those three giants, right? Emily Blake, my aunt, Lorraine Hansberry, and Malcolm X. And when I think of years lived, right, it's puzzling and revealing because Lorraine Hansberry died at 34 years old. Malcolm X was killed at 39. My aunt lived to be 90. But the impact of the first two reaches further than my aunt's, although they live much shorter lives. Combined, my aunt would have been like at 90 years old when she passed, was older than the other two life, right? Combined. And that's saying something, like, but it's also saying something to just like impact. And so we're gonna move right along to our third segment of the day. Nori Voss, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. We are dope. Tuning in from Harlem. Malcolm X is 100. Peace and love, said food. Peace and love. Happy birthday to Big Mama. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my babe. Thank you so much. Moving right along, third segment of the day. Today's third segment, tip of the day. My tip for you all: do not focus on how long you will live. Do not focus on how long you will live, but rather focus on the impact of your life. Yes, do things that put you in position to live long, eat right, exercise, keep a positive mindset, don't get into drama. But you could choke on a freaking chickpea, right? Like you really could choke on a chickpea. So don't stress yourself out over how long you will live because you really cannot control that. You can have a goal, you can have an idea. Like me, I said 100 to 120. Like that's my, like 120 is the longest. 100, cool, right? But I'm not focused. I'm not going to focus on that. Like, I mean, I'm going to commit to living a healthy lifestyle. So I put myself in position, but I'm not going to like not do things because, oh no, what if it, no. Live your life, right? Live your life. Like none of us control how long we will live. Anything can happen. We can slip, trip, fall, right? Like anything can happen. Car accident, anything, right? But if you commit to a cause greater than you and serve people daily in your life, your name and energy will live on, like those mentioned earlier, for decades and centuries to come. Right, my aunt's name is going to live on for decades and for centuries to come because my nephews and grandnieces, they're going to talk about her, and they hopefully going to teach their children about her, and we're going to carry on certain traditions, right, like the barbecue, right, and you 4th of July family barbecue, and you ski trip that's going to be carried on by members of the family, right, in different times, different members are going to take leadership, but that's going to continue, and so like my aunt's name is going to be mentioned in another 100 years. Especially like if I get my say and I live long and I get to build the things I want to build in her honor, right? Like Big Mama's house, a house for, right? Like we're gonna make some stuff work, man. But yeah, man, don't focus on how long you will live. Just focus on the impact of your life, right? And with that, we move right along to our fourth and final segment of the day. Happy birthday to the great ancestors. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, my sister. Happy birthday to the great ancestors. Let's move right along to our fourth and final segment before we get out of here. Our build of the day. Today's build is on legacy and impact. Listen, you can live a short life, but have monumental generational impact. Or you can live a long life having no impact beyond the people you directly impacted, which are your family, if you had children, your children, people you work around, people who you know, you can impact them, right? Long life. Cool. Now, clearly you can do both. You can have a long life with great impact. You can have a short life with no impact. But I've always said that I would rather die young for a cause than to grow old and die just because, right? So, like legacy and impact, what is your legacy? Your legacy is not simply what you leave behind, is the impact you have while you're alive, right? Like it's not just, you a piece of shit, you a trash person, and you leave $1 million for your family, and that's your legacy. No, you're okay. Your legacy, you left some money, but your legacy is also you was a piece of shit person. You was trash. You didn't really do nothing for people while you were alive, right? So like impact, legacy, man, like it's really hard to measure, right? What like the impact that life has. It's really hard to measure that. But like what we know is that whether you live long or short, committing to a cause greater than yourself could potentially lead to your name and face being etched in the history books forever. Commit to a cause beyond you, beyond your immediate family, beyond just making sure your children are good. Help make sure the children on the block, the children down the block are good. Instead of making sure just like your parents and your spouse is good, your siblings are good, make sure like the neighbors are good, right? Like just commit to a cause greater than yourself, right? Like legacy, impact, impact, legacy. You got to be focused on that. You got to focus on how will people remember you? What are the stories that people will tell about you? Will your family be able to benefit if they go broke? Let's say you leave a bunch of money, cool, but the money runs out. Can your family benefit off your name, or people hear your family name, hear your last name, and go the other way, or want to commit violence against your people, right? Like legacy, man. Like that's the build of the day, man. Like what legacy are you building? We speak about this often here because it's important, right? It's very important. It's very important. Understand that having your name and your face in the history books is powerful, right? And as our tip for today suggests, it's not the years of your life that truly matters, but it's the life in your years that matters most. Did you really live? Did you live? Most people are existing, they are not living. Did you really live? Did you? Most people, no. The answer is no, they did not really live. They are not really living. Did you help serve others? No, most people don't help nobody, man. They don't do nothing for nobody. It's all about them. What am I getting? Why you didn't help me? I need. And it's like, okay, but did you help other people? Did you serve people? Right? What is your life like? Consider that. Consider what is your life like? What's your daily life like? Are you complaining more than you're grateful? Are you taking more than you're giving? Right? Are you sitting, scrolling, watching more than you're doing? Right? Talking, building. What's your life like, homie? Like, and be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. What's your life like? And understand that if you want it to be different, you can make it different. If you want it to be better, you can make it better. Like only you can improve your life. Only you, nobody else. Nobody else can improve your life. Only you. You're the only person who can improve your life. You're the only person who's responsible for your legacy and the impact that you leave. It's not society's responsibility. It's not your parents' responsibility. It's not your spouse nor your children's responsibility. It is your responsibility to build a legacy that you will be proud of, that your children, your grandchildren, your ancestors, your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, a legacy that they can be proud of, right? It's not just about doing things for the sake of doing it. It's about doing things with intention, all right? Doing things for not so much the income, but the impact. And when you do things for the impact, you realize that the income ultimately comes, right? The income comes when you do it for impact. So do things just to do them. Don't always attach the thing to money. Don't do that. You're robbing yourself and you're robbing the people who love you and believe in you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. And guys, that is the show. That is our show today on this Monday, May 19th, 2025. Vanoy Club, what's going on, my brother? What's going on, family? Peace and love. Peace and love. Episode 369 in the books, kicking off week 75 here on SRDaily. Listen, 400th episode is coming up in a few short weeks, right? About 6 weeks. Episode 400. We're going to be locking in the venue. We're going to be locking it in, start promoting in the next week or so. I'm super excited. I'm grateful. Another episode, another week in the books, man. We are building something real epic. We are building something real timeless here with SRDaily. And remember, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Marston. This is episode 369 of SRDaily, Monday, May 19th, 2025. Please do join us right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram Live. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. That's the problem. It's staying down. So get up! The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Peace and love. And remember, be limitless. You are limitless. Live limitless. There's nothing that can stop you but you. Go get it. Be great. Peace.